Learn how to use a wrapper function to send specific data to a function after a delay. In this demo, instead of just calling a function, we pass this text as a piece of data as an argument that only gets processed after 3 seconds. So I'll go ahead and refresh this page so you see that after 3 seconds, this message is going to be displayed on the screen again. 1, 2, 3. You can see it. So we are going to look at how to pass arguments to a delay function in this lesson. So let's go ahead and make this example together. In this example, what we just want to look at is how to pass arguments to delay functions when we are working with timeouts in JavaScript. So normally, set timeout just runs a function. But if you want that function to use specific information, say for example, a custom message, you need to wrap it in an envelope, an anonymous function sort of. So it stays closed until the timer goes off. So let's look at how we can achieve this, in this lesson. We are going to follow 4 steps for the examples that shows how we can pass arguments to delay function. The first step says define the target function, make a wrapper function to pass the arguments, make the timer, then set the execution of the action. So the first one, which is to define the target function, so we'll go ahead and make that function. So let's call each function my function, and let's give it a parameter. Let's call the parameter name value. Now, inside this function, we want the value, the actual value for the value parameter to be displayed. So we'll go ahead and then make it. Now, currently nothing is happening on the screen. If you look at my screen, and what this function is basically doing is that this function is ready to receive any text and put it on the screen. And how will it receive the text? It will receive it as a passed argument to replace this value that we passed in as the parameter. So now that we have this target function, it is time to now make a wrapper, which is going to serve as the envelope or anonymous function that we call the timer. So I'll go ahead and put that up here, and let's just call that one to function, and let's call it my function. And inside it, what do I want to put? Well, I just want to put string inside it. A second, yeah, good. So I will put a second, this string inside it. I have to wait for 3 seconds to display this message. But as you can see it that with what I currently have here, it's already showing an error, and that is because of what I am doing. So I actually need to put this in the usual way of making function. So number 1, I will make a function call like this. Sorry, I will add parentheses to my function. Then inside it, I will move this inside the function. So now I can add this. And now that I have this one as my wrapper function, you can see that if you check this place, you can see a red squiggly line. Let's check for the error. Missing bracket. What? I already add the brackets. And why am I still getting the error? That's because I'm calling this function keyword directly. And that is probably what is causing the error. But now let's wrap our function as anonymous function inside an envelope. How do I do that? I need the set timeout method itself. So I'll wrap all of this inside set timeout method. Set timeout. And here I want to make the timer to be 3 seconds. So that's 3000 milliseconds. And now you can see that the error inside the function has disappeared. Now that I have this, if you look at my screen, I'm actually not seeing anything, which obviously means that something is wrong in my code. Let me inspect, because I'm supposed to be seeing a display, but currently nothing is getting displayed. So let me see if there's a clue inside the console. Set timeout is not defined. Okay. Set timeout takes a function as an anonymous function and another function of its own. Then the number that it should wait to display. And then I have the function itself, which is here, which is accepting value. And also getting the document by ID. So it's now telling me that set timeout is not defined, or is this not the correct spelling? Set timeout. Still saying the same thing. Set timeout. This is actually the correct one. So what could be the problem? Well, let's keep checking to see what could have gone wrong in this code. And that is how you troubleshoot code in JavaScript. When you have issues like this, this is not the problem actually. I am inside the script tag, set timer. Let me refresh. Oh, good. So the system, the browser, and initially, and now you can see it has released the correct output that is expected. So I'll go ahead and refresh this. I'll wait for 3 seconds to see what's going to happen. 1, 2, 3. Now you can see it. Now, if you look at the functions and the set timeout method that we have here, you will see that we give this envelope, which is this method that we have here, to our set timeout method, and wait 3 seconds before it will run this function, which is an anonymous function inside our set timeout method. Now, this simply tells us that when the timers end, then JavaScript will now open this and execute the code inside it. So JavaScript will first wait for this timer. Once it ends, then it will now open this. So this is just like, let's say, an envelope. That is, it contains something. It contains the content of something that needs to be opened after a given period of time. So we define what my function does, and then we tell set timeout to hold on to an anonymous function, and JavaScript keeps running other code for 300 milliseconds before it returns to it. And then the timer triggers the anonymous function, which it finally adds the text to my function. And then that function, once it is being handed to this, it will display the value to us in the screen. Beginners often think the timer handles the text, but it's not the correct interpretation, because the timer, which is the set timeout, only handles the time. What we have here is what handles the data that you want to send. So this is how we can have a function inside another function. There's a very common pattern in JavaScript. By using function inside our set timeout, we are basically saying wait for 3 seconds and then run everything inside these curly braces. This allows us to pass specific value like our message into the final function, as you can see here on the screen.